So primarily what I do is concept art. So they're just paintings that inspire the production. So usually there's a script and there's really not much done yet, and I'm coming up with what the look of the picture will be. So that's how usually my work is. So I usually my primary program I work in is Adobe Photoshop, and that's what I'm working with here today. And Photoshop gives me the chance to feel like I'm interacting personally with the tablet. So it's a really great program for that. I'm going to be working in a widescreen aspect ratio, like a very filmic aspect ratio at 2000 by 1100 pixels. I'm just going to quickly show you my process. I have my navigator up here at the right, my color slider, and my layers on the right here. So I'm picking my colors right now. I'm going to put in a sky grad. It's a gradient for the sky to show like time of day and mood. I usually think of things in terms of like exposure, like a photography. So I'm putting in the sky and the ground plane first before I lay in all the elements that are going to be inside the painting. And I've put together quite a bit of brushes. So all these brushes right here are brushes that I use every day at work. And there's a lot of different brushes, and sometimes I don't use all of them. I have them there to simulate traditional painting. I'm using the Lasso Tool right now. And what that does is actually allows me to select specific pixels, and I can paint within those pixels. So now I'm kind of painting in my landscape based off that. When I was younger and I was in college, early college, the first tablet just came out, like the Wacom tablet, and it was really early on, so the pressure sensitivity wasn't there yet. So I actually did a lot of my drawing with a mouse. And then I switched over to the tablet later. But once Wacom came out with the 9x12 Intuos 3, that's when I really started to get busy with my painting. It was really fun. So I'm doing a landscape painting. I like to work in landscape format when I'm doing a landscape painting because it's very natural for me. So I'm just working on foreground, middle ground, and background elements right now and staging those things in. Trying to paint something that's like otherworldly, a little bit more alien than what we're seeing on Earth, rock formations. If it's something that's like a 2D for like a 2D background, I actually create cards. Like, so each one of these is on a layer, like what you see, and they're able to like overlap them and parallax it. So I do background painting as well, and that's kind of the same system that I'm working with my traditional painting as well. So I'm thinking about different types of lighting situations here. I have a bounce light from the sky that's hitting this rock. Then I have a cast shadow that comes down from the overhang of the rock. And I'm painting in the bounce light as well on the bottom of the rock. So there's lots of different lighting that goes into a painting. People think it's like just magically happens, but you have to really think through all this process. So I'm designing the shapes, coming up with the lighting, coming up with the type of color that I'm going to be using, and painting that stuff all out as I go. So it's an involved process, so to say. So I'm thinking about composition right now, rules of thirds. What that means is I want things to focus in on here's like a third of the piece, and here's a third of the piece here. Generally, I don't want to put things dead center in the middle of the image because it gets symmetrical. So I'm thinking in terms of things in asymmetrical when I design. So I flip the canvas constantly to kind of check my balances to make sure that it's not lopsided compositionally. I'm going to throw some atmosphere in now to kind of push some lighting in here a little bit more, because right now it feels pretty flat. Again, drawing with the Lasso tool to kind of create shapes. Still going, I'm just thinking through the process right now, putting in some more clouds, some shapes for clouds. And it's because it's on a layer, I can move it around behind the object that I already have in here. And then you can actually duplicate objects. So I can take this rock that I've already created and then make a duplicate of it and then transform the size and put it into the distance. And because it's further off in the background, I'm actually going to lighten it up so it appears into the distance. Desaturate it. So that appears like it's further away now. Again, flip the canvas just to make sure that I'm on the right target here. And because they're the same shape right now, I want to break them up a little bit, make them feel a little different. So at this point, I've laid in the kind of groundwork for the painting, and I think it would be kind of cool to add in some trees and some shapes for trees. So I'm going to go into my little arsenal right now and find a tree to put into environment to see what will work best for this. And using a brush like this, it goes really quick. So like very fast, I can put in shapes for trees. Flip it again, just see how it's looking in each direction. And I'm flipping and I'm turning the brush in different directions to get different shapes. This is a scatter brush, so I can scatter many variants of the same brush shape with the scatter on it, so it kind of blends out. It looks like traditional painting too, which is really nice. I'm also thinking about lighting right now too, so I'm starting to saturate and increase the brightness on the color. I should probably save this. So I just saved my file finally after working the entire time. One of the games I worked on that was released recently was XP4, Battlefield XP4. I'm going to add some foliage coming down like vines to make this place feel a little bit more like it has lush, humid vegetation. Using the Lasso Tool, I can quickly select areas I want to add foliage to, and then just literally fill them in solid with a color. I'm going to add a little guy in right here for scale. And I'm coming up with what the look of the picture will be. I would say things that you wouldn't see ordinarily on a daily basis, like stuff like this, where strange rock formations, alien worlds, things of that nature. And then you have to put your gratuitous man with the pole in your landscape to show that this has a scale and a space. Yeah, I think I can spend hours on these, so I'll stop here. I think this is a good place. Thank you.